Of the stories that we have lined up for you tonight, and we begin with the government having announced it will enforce a dusk to dawn curfew in Kapedo in the wake of rising insecurity in the region. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i is warning civilians to surrender illegal weapons as officers move in to disarm civilians. The curfew that is awaiting gazettement will see movement restricted from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yusuf Farah with the details.
The government has announced plans to impose a curfew in Kapedo following an increase in insecurity.
And I'm going to designate it as a special operation area, and we'll maintain a curfew there between 6 and 6 in the evening.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i said security officers will disarm civilians in possession of illegal weapons in a bid to restore calm in the region.
And I've made it very clear when the leaders of that region came to see me last week, I told them that we will sustain the operation in that area until we get all the criminals out. We are going to disarm the people who are there. It is a responsibility of government to behave that way.
Matiang'i made the revelations during a joint security compact dialogue meeting between Kenya and the United Kingdom to address global security challenges under the common Al-Shabaab threat. The two countries pledged to work together towards combating the common threat.
I pledge on behalf of my colleagues that we will continue to work together to not only secure our people, but to make sure that this region remains safe.
I'm absolutely delighted that 4 years on from when I first came here, we are both delivering on strengthening our offer to the region and strengthening the offer to each other to work together to defeat both terrorism, but also uphold the shared common values that make us stand out.
Separately in Eldoret, police are investigating the death of a man alleged to have been killed following an argument over 200 shilling a roll of bang. The man is said to have a disagreement with his friend at a garage before a fight ensued.
Mtu anapigwa ndani ya garage hadi akufe na muko na unaona anapigwa. Si munazuia alafu munauliza ni nini na wachukua tuwe police station.
The man who was fighting was arrested and later released, sparking protest among residents. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
And now the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers are calling on religious leaders to mediate in the standoff in the health sector. This comes as the Council of Governors and Nairobi Metropolitan Services snubbed a conciliatory meeting convened at the Ministry of Labour on Monday in a bid to unlock the stalemate. Nancy Okware with details of the push and pull.
The conciliatory meeting was attended by representatives from the Ministry of Health and Labour, pouring cold water on the latest efforts to end the clinical officer strike.
We were invited here so that we can be able to have a conciliation, to see how we can be able to break the impasse. But the Council of Governors did not attend. The Nairobi Metropolitan Services did not also attend.
The union officials pointing an accusing finger at the Council of Governors, calling for religious leaders to intervene and mediate in the stalemate.
If you are a civil society and you cannot raise your voice when the rights of Kenyans are being trampled upon, the right to health.
Angia karibu siku sasa 47 zile ambazo tumekuwa kwa mgomo. Sisi hatujapoteza afisa tabibu hata mmoja, kumaanisha kwamba mahala tulipo kwa sasa ama kukaa mbali na mahali pa kazi tuko safe.
And as the clinicians were in Nairobi, in Kakamega County, the governor who chairs the Council of Governors, Wycliffe Oparanya, employed 61 nurses, giving them a 3-year contract in a bid to fill the void left by the striking nurses. Oparanya also warned the striking health workers in the county that they will not receive their salary for the days they have been away from duty, among other disciplinary measures.
Those who are on strike are illegal. They are doing so illegally. And those who have not come to work, they should count themselves sacked. And then those who are not paid, who never worked for the month of December and they were not paid, they should not expect to be paid even if they resume.
This coming as nurses in Meru County took to the streets, alleging intimidation by the county government following the issuance of dismissal letters to those participating in the strike.
Bandala ya kuongea kutuita tuongee, wameandikia wauguzi hao watu wako hapa barua za kuambia wameashishwa kazi bila kufuata sheria yote katika labor laws za Kenya ama County Government Act ama Employment Act.
The standoff between the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers and the Council of Governors continues, with the clinicians saying that they will not be cowed to go back to work until their demands are met to ensure a safe working environment. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Now, the country has recorded 69 more COVID-19 positive cases from a sample size of 2,814 tested in the last 24 hours. This brings to 100,052 the total number of positive cases in Kenya since the first case was recorded on March the 13th last year. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 related death toll remained pegged at 1,744 after no death was reported in the last 24 hours.
Out of the 69 positive cases recorded in the last 24 hours, 59 are Kenyans, while 17 are foreigners. 52 are males, while 17 are females. The Ministry of Health says the youngest among the positive cases is a 12-year-old child, while the oldest is 99 years. Nairobi recorded the highest number of positive cases with 49, followed by Kitui, 9, Mombasa 2, Machakos, Busia, Garissa, Kajiado, Kisumu, Kwale, Meru, Trans Nzoia and Uasin Gishu recorded 1 case each. The Ministry of Health says 449 more patients have recovered from the disease, of whom 269 recovered from various facilities, while 180 recovered from the home-based isolation and care. The total number of recoveries now stands at 83,418. The ministry further notes that 506 patients are admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 1,469 are on home-based isolation and care. 25 patients are in the intensive care unit, 13 of whom are on ventilator support and 11 on supplementary oxygen. Another 17 patients are separately on supplementary oxygen, with 10 of them in the general wards. 7 patients are in the high dependency unit. No COVID-19 related death was reported on Monday. Beatrice Getonyang-Etich, Channel 1 News.
And now Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho says he will seek legal redress over claims by Mike Sonko alleging his criminal liability in the 2017 election period. Kibicho wants the former governor to produce evidence of his wild allegations that the PS was central in the planning and execution of violence which were allegedly blamed on the supporters of the Orange Democratic Movement.
Mimi na Kibicho na deep state wale wengine na system tuliwenda kuprint t-shirts za ODM, tukanunua magari second hand kwa mashowroom, tukazichoma huko Ngong Road.
It is these remarks by former Nairobi County Governor Mike Sonko that have rattled Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho. Kibicho, who recorded a statement with the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Monday, said he intends to pursue the matter in court.
People have come to accept it's Sonko, it's okay. He can abuse you, he can character assassinate you, it's okay, it's Sonko. And I, as a private citizen, have decided to break that cycle.
Kibicho challenged the former governor to produce evidence of his wild allegations.
Sonko shall give me answers if there is law in this country. Where we were with him, all the manner of things that he has made against me, he must prove one by one.
The Orange Democratic Movement has also weighed in on the matter, arguing that Sonko's remarks had vindicated the party of accusations of engaging in political violence. ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna calling on investigative agencies to probe the matter. Meanwhile, Alego Usonga Member of Parliament Samuel Atandi has defended the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga over allegations that he is derailing the Jubilee Party's development agenda. The legislator said that contrary to the claims, the ODM leader had been pivotal in creating a conducive environment for the government to deliver on its mandate.
Raila Odinga cannot participate in sharing the spoils or
all the failures of this government.
Finally, Maendeleo Chapchap party leader Alfred Mutua has reiterated that time is ripe for the country to have a new crop of leadership.
Vijana walio hapa ambao wana kazi, watu ambao wako hapa wana barabara, watu wako around, akina mama wana pesa, wajue kwamba kuna chama ambacho kinajali maslahi yao.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Safin Achieng'a.
Now, political parties that receive most votes during the general elections will get most slots for nominated members of county assemblies if the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020 sees the light of the day. Now, the bill, sponsored by proponents of the Building Bridges Initiative, proposes to change the nomination of candidates from being based on seats won by a political party to the total number of votes received by a political party in any election. Kevin Washira looks at the proposed changes in tonight's segment of Constitutional Review.
Clause 45 of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 proposes to amend Article 177 of the Constitution on membership of county assembly. Currently, special seats in the county assemblies are filled through nomination of persons by political parties in proportion to the seats received in that election in that county by each political party. Clause 45B of the bill seeks to ensure the nomination slots are only given to candidates who stood for the election, with precedence being given to those who received the greatest number of votes. The amendment bill also seeks to give the electorate or the nominating party power to recall their member of county assembly before the end of the term. Further, the amendment seeks to align the term of county assemblies to the election cycle and provide that the special top-up seats expire after 10 years, in view that affirmative action measures ought to have time limitations. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
Now, the government is warning of tough measures in the wake of rising unrest in schools. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says the government will crack the whip on defiant students in efforts to ensure learning runs smoothly in institutions across the country. This comes amid 4 arson cases reported in schools over the weekend. This and more in the county briefs.
In the latest case of unrest in school, students at Kimilili Boys Secondary School went on a rampage on Monday, leaving a trail of destruction. The students are alleged to have gone on a rampage protesting the mode of punishment of one student. The institution was shut indefinitely following the incident, becoming the second school to be closed due to unrest in the last 48 hours.
We will handle criminal activities according to the law. If you commit a crime, we are going to subject you to the legal process.
It is the emergence of these sins that has now seen Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha warn of dire consequences on students destroying school property.
Each person who feels that just because he or she is a child and is going to assault a teacher, we shall come to you like a ton of bricks. And I would want all the teachers to feel very free to continue to instill the discipline.
Elsewhere, Chemasiri Technical and Vocational College in Teso North constituency are demanding the government equips the institution as well as employ enough teachers.
And I've recruited quite a number of teachers. Actually, most of them just volunteered when they saw the number. They have volunteered and we are giving them a peanut. Another challenge is, of course, the training tools and equipment. We were not having, the government is yet to bring up.
In Nakuru County, the county boss Lee Kenyanjui wants the national government to resume construction of the stalled multi-billion shilling Itare Dam in Kuresoi to tackle the perennial water shortage in the county.
Appeal to the national government, to the minister, and also to the president that we relook at the issue of Itare Dam and separate criminal issues from the need to serve the people of Nakuru and to give them water.
Finally, a section of the clergy hailing from St. Philip's ACK Church, Homa Bay Diocese, has expressed concern over alleged discrimination against a group of the faithful for their freedom of worship.
No major meetings so that the Roman Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, the SDA Church, The churches that worship on Saturdays and Sundays are able to worship, and so people are left only to focus on their God.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
While you're watching Channel 1 News Hour, it's time for us to take a short breather, but when we come back, we will be discussing business, so stay tuned.
Malaria ni ugonjwa hatari sana unaoua watu wengi hapa Kenya. Japo kuko na corona, hatari ya malaria bado iko. Mtoto huyu alikuwa na joto jingi, kutetemeka, kuumwa na viungo na uchovu. Alikimbizwa hospitali ya umma ambako sheria za COVID-19 huzingatiwa na ni salama kwa shughuli ya upimaji. Vipimo vilionyesha kuwa ana malaria, na papo hapo daktari akampa dawa za malaria na kumshauri azimalize, na ili kujikinga wawe wakilala ndani ya neti iliyotibiwa. Malaria husambazwa na mbu. Walio hatarini ni watoto wa chini ya miaka 5 na akina mama wajawazito. Kupimwa na kutibiwa ni bure katika hospitali zote za umma. Usisahau adui malaria. Zero malaria huanza na mimi. Chukua jukumu leo. Komesha malaria. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Afya.
Nichukulie kwa mfano ndani ya matatu.
Unajua Saturday haiandikangu hivyo.
Ni nini wewe?
Yaani mtu mzima na miaka zake hizo miaka zote. Mtu ajui kujua kuandika note. Note tu peke yake. Kusoma kweli inasaidia.
Kijana, nini nakusumbua na mimi?
Nauliza ni ungwana.
Don't you dare insult me, okay?
Mama Angel,
Don't you
point
dare.
me.
Oh, please. Let the dead bury. They are dead, right?
Very well, let's now talk some business. And farmers of Buri constituency in Meru County are appealing to the national government through the Ministry of Agriculture to provide planes for aerial fumigation following a locust invasion. They are concerned that the presence of desert locusts will result in massive crop losses, threatening food security in the region.
The swarms from Ethiopia and Somalia are being pushed into Kenya due to a change in the wind direction. The destructive insects invaded farms in Meru County last week, raising a food security concern.
Sisi tunaangamia. Nyasi ya ng'ombe hakuna. Chakula hakuna, imeisha. Kuna chakula. Imekula yote. Sasa tutafanya nini?
The farmers' efforts to arrest the destruction on their crops proved futile owing to their airborne nature.
Hapo jana tukashinda hapa tu kufukuzana nazo kwa hii shamba na kwa hii mashamba ya majirani, na tukaonelea hatungeweza, mpaka hata watoto wa shule walitoka, wakiwa wanatoka shule wakakuta tunakimbishana nazo. Tukajaribu kuzipigia kelele na hao watoto, lakini unaona sinainuka, sinapanda juu, sinazunguka alafu sinarudi pale pale.
The farmers are now appealing to the national government to intervene by providing planes for aerial fumigation in order to help avert the looming crisis.
Tunalilia serikali itusaidie na ndege ikuje kunyunyizie hizo nzige, sababu huku kwetu kuko na mashamba kubwa na kuna miiba mingi. Hatuwezi kufukuza vizuri sababu ya miiba.
Kenya has set 8 bases in Rift Valley, northern Kenya and the coast to control the invasive pest.
Now, cybersecurity consulting firm Serianu has teamed up with Global Cyber Alliance targeting the local, private and public sector cybersecurity risk management space owing to the increase in cyber threats. The partnership aims at providing companies access to better cyber risk management.
According to cybersecurity research, between 2015 and 2020, the cost of cybercrime in Africa rose from an estimated $500 million to $3 billion as attackers expanded their scope from the financial sector to manufacturing, government, and individual mobile devices. However, firms are yet to adequately invest in cybersecurity management tools. To this end, stakeholders in the cybersecurity space are teaming up to safeguard the sector. In a statement, Serianu's head of product strategy and partnership development, Brensil Kaimba, explained that the partnership between the firm and GCA will enable institutions to reduce the impact of cybersecurity attacks by leveraging on the combined research and tools that will enable proactive defense of intrusions into systems. The firms also hope to target opportunities among SMEs, especially on topics related to email security and DNS security. Alan Auko, Channel 1 Business.
Now, the Kisumu County government and the Regional Land Office are locked in a bitter feud over allocation of land meant for the county government expansion. The Kisumu County City Manager Abala Wanga revealed that over 58% of land meant for expansion of the city infrastructure has been irregularly allocated and deprived of the county the ability to attract more investors and grow. Achola Simon with the details.
This has been the norm in the last couple of months. Kisumu County government demolishing property constructed on public land. Former municipal council workers and provincial administrators have been named as those behind the irregular allocation. The Kisumu County government is now threatening to write an official protest letter to the National Lands Office.
You have dished out fake title deeds. You have messed up pathways. You have messed up playing grounds. We have messed up anything that Kisumu City can develop upon. You have no business being in that office.
City Manager Bada Wanga revealed that close to 50% of the land earmarked for expansion of the city is already in the hands of private developers.
The city is transcending. Kibos area is going to be temporary industrial park. Out of the 7 acres, 50% of that land has been allocated to illegal land grabbers. Notice, leave that space because we want to develop Kisumu and Kibos must be industrial park. I'm still on land grabbers. Amutalala Mwakai the whole of this year.
The city manager spoke as he accompanied the governor in the commissioning of construction works at the 79 million shillings Otonglo market. Once complete, the market will accommodate close to 500 traders. Achola Simon reporting for Channel 1 News from Kisumu County.
And now in the world of sports, the Kenya Volleyball Federation has had their appeal to have the Africa Olympic Beach Volleyball qualifiers for women replayed accepted. Now, the Kenya women's team failed to travel to Nigeria last year due to restrictions on visiting countries that had confirmed coronavirus cases.
The Kenya Volleyball Federation has won the appeal to have the Africa Olympic Beach Volleyball qualifiers for women replayed after failing to travel to Nigeria last year due to restrictions on visiting countries that had confirmed coronavirus cases.
The women are going to have another chance because last year, because of COVID-19, the games in Nigeria were put off. They went ahead rather without us because us were not allowed to leave the country because of the restrictions. So that's something to really be happy about. And we know that with their standards, they'll almost definitely qualify for the Olympics.
Speaking to KBC Sport, Kenya Volleyball Federation Vice President Charles Nyaberi said that they have made an appeal to have the men's event that was held in Gambia replayed.
We're also pushing Our president and the federation are pushing for a repeat of the men. We don't want the men's one left behind.
The women's qualification event will take place in Nigeria either in late March or early April 2021. Meanwhile, Malkia strikers are set to go into camp to prepare for the Tokyo Games.
The Malkia strikers, actually now they are in the hands of the very able hands of National Olympic Committee. National Olympic Committee is already organizing for them to get into training. We hope that that residential training will start as soon as possible, because we're also hoping that nothing happens to either delay or put off the games in Tokyo.
The Olympic Games are scheduled to take place from 23rd July to 8th August in Tokyo, Japan.
Now the last